these days based over in California, part of the Roadrunners team. Caitlin with a horse that's been developing well with her for over the last 12 months is the 13-year-old Amir by Dubai. Confidently over the Oxer at 3. Just getting themselves into a nice balanced rhythm down this line. Just a little bit steady coming into the first part there, and has the vertical. So again, with 4 faults, if you're going to be in the game, need to be moving up. She's just staying into the rhythm that suits them at the moment. 4 might get in yet. It's a long way to go through the class at the moment. We've got 2 on time faults at this stage. Again, the time fairly snug enough. And this is going to see them into time as well. Just on the 4 for jumping, but going to add 4 more for time. So going to be a total of 8 at 74.33 for Caitlin Campbell and Amir. And it is now Juan Jose Zendia Salgado and Just Nice Van Het in the half, the 13-year-old by Deauville de la Valle. French-bred mare for the next to the Mexican riders. So 1 from Marlowe, 2 for Nick Pizarro, 8 for Jose Antonio Shadrawi Prom. Caitlin Campbell after that with her 8, obviously a little bit further back with 4 of hers being time faults. Measured into that CP Oxer. Just starts to get you extending down the line, just gets a little stretched out there, and that's where they can just catch you. Just wants to get you moving up to those fences, but again, you've got to have the jump underneath you. Doing the right thing at the moment, keeping moving. Never know with the 4s whether they'll get in or not. Big bold line here, and then he puts you onto a little delicate fence to finish. And that's why, because there we go. That last fence drops as well, takes them to a total of 8, 69, 68, 8 there for Juan Jose Zendia Salgado and Just Nice. Just that last fence as well, but it's there, sitting in wait, and unfortunately it catches him too. So not the only one to have that fence down, but 8 in total. Eugenio Garza now, Victor Finn, DHZ. 14-year-old, well-established horse and rider here for Mexico. In fact, from Monterrey. Home just a few minutes down the road. On the team for Team Helios. Last night's team class shaking things up a little bit as well in the overall championship. 5 wins that Helios have had so far this season. Eugenio being a key part of that with running right back into San Miguel, but it's been a really good working between the team. Eugenio starting off exactly as they need to that first fence, just getting a little cut at that to save time. He knows here he's got his eye on a fast time here, because that's what they're vying for, to get into that pole position to go last. Just trying to take the care here at the plank. Gets up on the 5 all right. And again, nice efficient move away. Gets tight up to 9, just into that left edge, which is good. Doesn't leave a lot of space there back to the birdhouses. Very efficient round so far. It'll be really interesting to see here how this compares to the time allowed, because he should be right in the early to mid 60s. There we go. That's how to do it. 63.89. And Eugenio Garza and Victor Finn DH said not only go with the clear, but a very fast one indeed. Is 5-6 seconds ahead of everybody else of what they've put up as time so far. So a very different round, but exactly how to play it. That's the gamesmanship of the class. Eugenio then into pole position. Vanessa Mannix and Carmela Z. New ride for her this year, and has just been getting experience with this one in a few of the classes, including competing in the team class with the Show Plus Northern Lights. 11-year-old by Candilo 3. Had her best result a few weeks ago, finishing top 3 in the 5-star Grand Prix in San Miguel de Allende. Just tips the rail there. Again, wants to think about a fast 4 because there are no 4s at the moment. She's moving pretty well so far. Just cuts across there. Just puts her a little bit out to the right, but gets a good turn back okay to save a little of that time. Again, I think if they're going to be playing in the serious end of being in the top 10, they want to be like this. We're into the 60s of a score, but just that delicate fence the last, you just try and put a bit of pace on there, and it just means that they drop a tiniest toe on it, finishing on a score of 868.32 for Vanessa Mannix and Carmela Z. Eugenio Garza, best of scores at the moment. Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne and Martielis. Manuel, who was actually not just on the winning team for Mexico in the Challenge Cup in Barcelona a few weeks ago. He's had a really good run throughout this season with this horse and with Hortensia. But rode the early double clear there, claimed a big bonus there too, and has really come out in confidence this season. Is probably his biggest year to date. Championship rider for Mexico. And now joined on to the Trailblazers team. Gets a little bit tight up to that, loses pace. Just got to get that back up here. But again, play close to that plank and then enough pace at last. Does that well, actually. Just to get across that back bar. And now back into a more even stride through the triple combination. Oh, that's a shame. Gets a good turn back though. Just trying to hold the last, gets a fraction close to it, but it just enough off it that they leave it up. Finishing on the 4:66.31. You see him right down the line, eyeing it all the time. Not so easy, that final run. 66.31 is a good time as well. It's a 4-fault round. It is the only one so far, and he will be, the 4th best at the moment. Eugenio Garza with the only clear round, swiftly at 63.89. We're going to come up to about our 10th in the order in a moment, so that will give us a good idea of where we are at. Ana Sofia Legorreta Hernandez and Santa Rosa Tokyo. Now for the Mexican on the 11-year-old German-bred horse. Oh, just trying to just squeeze a little down that line, puts her a little bit close to the CP fence. Airborne over the Oxer coming out. So just was getting a little bit quicker down that line. Such a difficult sport to master. Time is going to be pretty good. She's played that sensibly to keep the pace up to try and get themselves in, and leaves the last up, which is good. 67.21, so another one under the 70. Okay, it is on the 4 there for Ana Sofia Legorreta and Santa Rosa Tokyo. Those really in the game here need to be late 60s and even down to early 60s, with Eugenio Garza on 63. 67.21 puts her into 5th place at the moment for Ana Sofia Legorreta. Eugenio Garza, then followed by Emma Marlowe. Nick Pizarro is the top 3 at the moment. Bliss Here's Goodbye. A team horse last night as well for Team Helios. Didn't quite come out for the team last night, as it has done on a few of the occasions so far. It makes it all the closer going into the final 2 stages in California, of course, in a couple of weeks' time into December. Bliss, Grand Prix winner. San Miguel back on the start of the Mexican stages of Major League. That was on Antidote de Mars. Nice and balanced down the line. Set up. Good. Good efficient turn back. Just trying to save a little bit on the turns. Just gets a little to the right on that. Balance through that line. Just this last tricky one to deal with. And this could go into the second best them so far. It is going to be 67.74, and so we'll go slotting into what is 9th position, but in reverse will be second best, Ignacio Morin and Aquarella B. So it is still Eugenio Garza with best, but now Ignacio Morin is the second best. Bliss Hears after that at 70.04. Rupert Winkelmann of Germany, riding for the Crusaders now, came into the second part of the season. Earlier this year competing in Wellington, Florida as well, with Duvery, the 9-year-old by de Montesemi, the French-bred horse for the German rider. Heading over for the big competitions here in Mexico. Now also getting eyes on who is going to be a part of those final two stages in California at the Desert Horse Park. Two very different stages, although the same venue. First one on the grass in a beautiful new arena that was put in last year, and then the last week under the lights. Oh, and just pushes that one away. Not much of a rub. Couple down at this point. And there we go. Just going to be on the 8. Going to be mid-60s in terms of time. 65.97. 8 there for Rupert Winkelmann. And Duvery. Puts him into the top 10 at the moment, puts him into 8th place at this point. If we were going in reverse order, he would then be, what, 3rd to go? Alberto Michan, already a winner here this week with Bugatti for Eduardo Leon. Picked up the table C earlier on this week. Would be very handy to put this one behind them too. Quick combination. Be having taken over the ride that was a prolific winner already. Well-established horse at the age of 16 and keeps bringing home the cash for them and enjoying the sport. Super rider to have on top. Highly successful, including having been well up there at the individual finals at the Olympics before now. Moves up down that line. These days basing a lot in California. This could be a danger runner for Eugenio. Leads at the moment. It's not going to be faster than him, but is going to be one to think about in those final few as he goes clear at 68.97. And so we'll put him as the 3rd best so far for Alberto Michan and Bugatti. Looking to pick off another class here this week if they can. Paul O'Shea on the horizon, part of the Eye Candy team that won last night. Say partly rode a fantastic round in the 3rd round to get the victory for them decisively. Hellcat, the Eye Candy team owned horse, 11-year-old mare by Cassandra van Het Bremhoff. It's kept the flames alive for the Eye Candy team going into the final 2 stages. 9 points ahead now, Team Helios. Eye Candy close on the heels. Interesting because Helios have got 5 wins behind them, but Eye Candy's consistency, and the same with Spy Coast as well, who again were up for the fight last night because they finished 2nd, have kept them just about in touching distance of the leading team. Just a little bounce in the cups. He has a little look back. Still looking good so far for Paul. Not going to quite get to Eugenio's time, but he's going to have a fence down there just as they move down that line. Decent 4 in terms of time, 66.39. May squeeze in yet, we'll see. So the just on the 4 faults there for Paul O'Shea, 66.39 should put him still into that top 10 at the moment. Tanamara Macari now of Mexico, Cordelia GPZ. Now for the young Mexican rider. Went very well for young riders now into the under-25s, based in Florida, as many are. Strong circuit there now, especially with that coming up into next year in the start in January. Several big venues, of course, now in Florida, and huge growth circuit there. Pretty quick so far. She's keeping moving, which is good. A little light horse that's got a really good turn back there. Good little engine. Leave these up and she's not going to be far away. And she does. And going to be breathing down the neck of Eugenio Garza, 65.04. Tanamara Macari and Cordelia GPZ will go second quickest so far. So top few at the moment. Sean Jobin due on the horizon next for the Canadian rider, Coquelicot. Still Eugenio Garza dominating in terms of time and efficiency this morning. fired up, I think, after a tough evening of sport for the team Helios. Four vaulters just squeezing in at the moment. Just a moment before we come on to our next to say, just a reminder, 2:30 this afternoon for the Grand Prix class. And Sean Jobin just making his way in with the 10-year-old grey by Kotoki. For the Foxridge Farm Stables. Sean new onto the teams this year as part of what is mainly Canadian squad for the Northern Lights. Efficient so far, good start. It's a little bit wider on that turn to take care into this triple combination. Leave these up and he could be in the game, but unfortunately doesn't, drop short on the way out. Gets the balance back for the last, and it's going to be on the 4 at 70.01 for Sean Jobin and Koklikot, so he will finish on the 4 faults, which I think will just put him outside of that top 10 at the moment. So still just not quite enough. So into 10th spot there, it is going to be Ana Sofia Legorreta on the 4 at 67.21. Paul O'Shea just in there on the 4 at 66.39. And then it is the 4 faults of Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne as the third of those of the 4 faulters just in at the moment. Juan Ortiz, vintage. Ooh, early rail for them now. Newer ride this season. A big scopy horse for him, really got the jump for the big tracks. Just gets out of space coming down that line. Again, it's been good for them to get out in these arenas to get the ring time together. Been building up with this. He's had a little less time with, and Kinky Boy too turns up tight to that, but just doesn't quite come. On the 8. There we go. And is going to finish on 2 down at 71.89. And Juan Ortiz and Vintage going to be outside our top 10 at the moment. Still remains the same at this point.
Well, we have 10 competitors who are on a clean sheet so far, and we have a good few more to come. So those clear competitors who are a little further down the running just need to be a little bit careful in terms of their time. But we have 1 on 1 time penalty, 1 on 2 time penalties, and then 3 fast 4 falters. The fastest of the clears is Eugenio Garza. His time was 63.89 seconds, and the time allowed, remember, is 71 seconds. But Rodrigo Lambre comes forward next with Mesquidam PS. This is a 9-year-old gelding, German-bred gelding by Messenger out of a Quidam de Reval mare. Rodrigo's a rider, of course, on the Spy Coast Spies team, who had that fantastic second place finish once again in last night's competition. Lots of second places for them, 5 in fact this season so far. And it has them in 3rd place in the overall season standings. Team Eye Candy have just pipped them into 3rd. They sit in 2nd. Comes fairly swiftly down that final line. The time is good and the fences are all up. 68.94 for Rodrigo Lambre and Mesquidam PS. He will be our 4th fastest clear out of the 6 that we have now. And that means that Ana Sofia Legoreta Hernandez drops into 11th place and out of the top 10. And the top 10 in this competition then go through to the 2nd round. That's the way that it works. They don't necessarily have to jump clear, they just have to be in the top 10. Heading into the ring now through that in-gate that's just seeing a little bit of sun come onto it is Federico Fernandez, one of our competitors for Mexico here. His horse is Vega de la Roche. We've had some great support from the crowd for the Mexican competitors over the course of the week. This, of course, being our final day of international competition. Federico has already had some very good results in our 5-star Grand Prix at the 2 Mexican legs that we've had so far. He was 6th in San Miguel with Davidoff, and then he was 5th here last week with Davidoff, just with time penalties both times there. 2 time penalties in San Miguel and 1 last time out here last week. Nice to see him with the 2 5-star horses here. Strong string for him so that he is able to have a horse for these Grand Prix, and then also now have a 5-star horse ready for the winning round competitions as well. Well, again, a very nice final line. Swiftly down to that skinny fence at fence 12 for Federico Fernandez. He gives us another clear, and his time is 68.21 seconds. He now is our 4th fastest. Rodrigo Lambre just drops down to the 5th spot, but crucially, they are in the top 10 as we move on through this competition, and they're aiming to get into the top 10 to get into the next round. We just have 1 rider on 4 who is still in our top 10. That's Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne with Marciales. But if we have another clear, then Manuel will unfortunately drop out of the top 10. Patricio Pascal comes next with Caba Blue. He's a rider on the Trailblazers team. and did very, very well for the Trailblazers last week. Wasn't on the squad this week, but they still managed a third place finish. Of course, they were second last week. Cabba blew his ride here this morning, and that was the horse that he rode on the Trailblazers last week. This is a 9-year-old stallion, a German-bred horse by Chaco Blue, owned by Simon Nisri, who has also competed the horse in the past, as have Jordan Coyle, Nicholas Toro and Nikolai Heinroos, who's a Danish rider. But Patricio very much forming a good partnership with this horse and going really nicely in their career so far. Unfortunate to just have that Cabana Coast upright down there, just gets a little quick down the line. Of course, it's important to have an eye on the time, and he can be a very fast rider. So it's going to be 2 down in total for Patricio, 69.15, and Manuel Gonzalez Dufresne lets out a little bit more of a sigh of relief at this point. That's 1 more down. He's still in the top 10. Patricio will go into 17th place as it stands. Well, this combination were one of the real star performances of last night in the team competition. Very impressive jump off that we saw between Team Eye Candy and the Spyco Spies for the top spot, and Jordan Coyle was the man selected to compete in that medal jump off, the gold medal jump off once again with Picador. Had a really good fast time, but then was just pipped to the post by Paul O'Shea. Had a lot of good results with this horse this year and did extremely well at the Dublin Horse Show with Picador, but he's got a good few horses here, right at the very top level, the likes of Ariso, Costa Diam as well. Again, another naturally fast rider. And one that I'm sure would be no surprise to anybody to see him. Oh, I was just going to say at the top of the tree, but unfortunately he just clips that final fence. 66.28 is his time, so he is now our fastest four-faulter. He knocks Manuel Gonzalez into 11th place. Jordan Coyle becomes our 10th, but it's looking a little bit delicate there, because if we have another clear, he will drop out of the top 10. That's the way that this competition works. We still have 9 left on the list, and we've still got some great names and some great horses to come. Arturo Parada Vallejo comes next with Pandora 258. They're a combination on the Roadrunners team. They rode on the team in San Miguel, just to have 1 fence down in round 1 there. He's had wins in the 2-star competitions at San Miguel at the start of this year. Also had 2-star wins at Guadalajara and Puebla. Just unfortunate to have that Cabana Coast oxer down. Lovely to see the horse stepping up extremely well to the 5-star level over the course of the year. They were also second in the 5-star Grand Prix at Quapex Pan in March. Well, it's a very good time, 65.28, one fence down though, and so he's clipped a little bit of time off that of Jordan Coyle. So Jordan Coyle now goes into 11th place and Arturo takes the 10th spot. Lots of mixing up around that 10th and 11th spot. We're seeing various riders be dropping out, dropping in. This rider has been very, very busy in recent weeks. This is Eduardo Pereira de Menezes, competing in the World Cup shows in Europe in the last few weeks as well, and now having a spin around these shows in Mexico with H5 Chaco's Charlie PS. He, of course, was second in the 5-star Grand Prix last week. That was with H Big Action. One fence left. I don't know that this will be the fastest, but I could be corrected on that. It's going to be one fence down in a time of 64.75. Indeed, it is going to be our fastest 4. So he will now take the 10th spot, and Arturo Pereira drops into 11th. Still leading the way. The best at the moment is Eugenio Garza with Victor Finn. His time 63.89 is the fastest of the clears that we have so far. He's followed by Tanemara Macari, Ignacio Morin, Federico Fernandez, Rodrigo Lambre, Alberto Michan, Bliss Here's Arena Outdoors here. We've also had them jumping indoors last night in the team competition. That was the first time that they have had to jump indoors on the circuit so far. Nicely down to that Cabana Coast upright with the water tray underneath it there. This final line needs quite careful riding. Nicely through the double there. Just takes a little bit of a steadying hold towards the final fence, this skinny at fence 12, and so it's a good time, 66.98. 4 on the board though for Carlos, and he will go into 15th place at the moment with his 4 faults. Oh, having just a brief pause in the proceedings, our next rider is in the ring. Just getting things going. And here she is on the right-hand corner of your screen. This is the very talented young rider, Mimi Goshman. She rides Cosmos BH. Mimi, of course, is the rider who was selected to compete at the Youth Equestrian Games that were held at Aachen in the summer, and she performed extremely well there for an individual bronze medal. Really, really brilliantly done. And she's got some fantastic rides at the moment. Just really a very hard-working young rider, getting the time in, and certainly has the talent to do extremely well, especially jumping in these 5-star competitions at a young age. Of course, as you might expect, she's also a rider who's been extremely successful at the North American Youth Championships. This horse is just a 9-year-old, owned by the Goshman Sport Horse LLC. And as we've come to expect from this young lady, that's a lovely clear round. 66.69 is the time on the clock. And so she's now our third fastest clear. It's looking fairly likely that she will be going through to the second round, but do bear with us on that because we do have 6 combinations still to come. Having said that, as she is in third, even if those 6 went in front of her, she'd still stay there or thereabouts in the top 10. As I say, 6 combinations yet to come in this competition, and if you're just joining us, we are on the 5-star winning round class. That is the competition in which we have the top 10 going forward to a second round, to a shortened course, a jump-off round, if you like. However, they don't necessarily all need to be clear, they just all need to be in the top 10. So right now, we've got 8 on a clear. We have Emma Marlowe on 1 time penalty. We have Nicholas Pizarro on 2 time penalties. They are still in the top 10 as it stands, but we do have 6 combinations still to come. So a few to bring you. We just have a slight pause in the proceedings now, but we'll be bringing you our next competitor, who will be Alberto Sanchez-Cozar, in just a couple of moments' time. Here we go then with our next competitor. It's Alberto Sanchez-Cozar with Union de la Nutria. Next rider to try to get into this top 10. This is another combination who've jumped well at Quapex Pan just a couple of months ago, just picking up 1 time penalty in a 4-star speed class back in October. They've been in the top 10 9 times so far this year. Oof, really reached over that oxer and extremely lucky to keep that fence up. What a really very quick thinking horse, and of course quick thinking rider as well. Lovely down the final line. That was a well-earned clear round there. 67.1 seconds. Alberto Sanchez-Cozar will be in the top 10 for now. He's going to be in the 4th spot right now. Of course, the other thing to bear in mind is that, yes, they're trying to get into the top 10, but also they are deciding their order of go. So whoever is the best rider of the top 10 will go last. They'll go in reverse order of merit. That, so far, is Eugenio Garza. He'll be last to go here. Lily Keenan comes next with Argan de Belliard. Now, this lady is certainly one to watch for not only this competition, but for the Grand Prix later as well. She was our winner last week with Queensland E. It was a very tough competition. She gave us our only double clear, one of only 3 clears in round 1, in fact, to clinch the win there. That was her first 5-star Grand Prix win. She's had a lot of 5-star Grand Prix podium finishes and is absolutely a rider at the very top of her game at the moment. Argan de Belliard is one of her very top horses as well. This is the horse that she took to the World Championships in Herning back in the summer. It's a horse that she's been riding since earlier this year. She's also jumped 2 Nations Cups with this horse, only dropping 1 pole in a couple of rounds there. Lots of clears on this pair's international record, and she's going to add another one here. 67.73 on the clock. Lily Keenan will be our 5th best in this competition so far, so she'll go in the middle of the pack if she stays in that position in the 2nd round. Very much a rider to watch here today, and very much a rider to keep an eye on in the Grand Prix. Lily will go 21st in the Grand Prix with Queensland E. So Erin Ballard comes next with Quilana Denver. Of course, is a rider on Team Lugano. They finished in 7th place last night. She jumped on this at Angelstone tournaments. And she jumped 2 double clears at that competition. She's also jumped this horse at Spruce Meadows quite extensively at 3- and 5-star level. It's a horse that we've seen going from strength to strength on the Major League show jumping circuit this year. It's just a 9-year-old by Quidam de Revel, as the name may suggest. It's going to be 8 in total then for Natalie Dean and Camilla D. 64.88 at the time was good, but a couple of fences just getting clipped there, just as a result of some of that pace, I think. So she is going to go into 33rd place with the 8 penalties. We still have 10 clears. Erin Davis Heineking will be our next competitor to head out across this course. She's our penultimate competitor, in fact, and she rides NKH Cento Blue. This is the horse that Christian Heineking has ridden in the past, but Erin now very ably taking over the reins since this summer. Christian actually rode this horse on the winning Major League show jumping team here at Monterey last year. And Erin had this horse in the 5-star speed class at Traverse City for a 6th place finish. Not quite going how she might have liked so far. She's going to incur 4 penalties and just reapproach here. Got better on the 2nd time of asking. Could be quite costly on the clock as well there, so you may well see the penalties creeping up above 4. She's just had another fence there as well, gets a little bit underneath the upright. She's just got this final line to come, but you can see that the clock is ticking up. She's going to incur quite a few for time as well. Certainly a very good educational round for the horse. And just clips the last as well. So with a time of 86.33, it's going to be 24 penalties in total, or 28. We have that amended to. So 31st will be Erin's position for now, with her 28 penalties. And we just have one rider left on our list to come. Ten clears are the 10 going through to round 2 as it stands. Eugenio Garza, the best of those. Bliss Here's the slowest of those. But just to give you a rundown from the fastest to the slowest of those clears, we have Eugenio Garza with Victor Finn, Tanamara Makari with Cordelia GPZ, Mimi Goshman with Cosmos BH, Alberto Sanchez Cozar and Union de la Nutria, Lily Keenan with Argan de Belliard, Ignacio Morin with Acorella B, Federico Fernandez with Vega de la Roche, Rodrigo Lambre with Mesquidam PS, Alberto Michan and Bugatti and Bliss Here's with Goodbye. And it looks like we are not going to see our final competitor coming forward. It would have been Dara Kenny, but looks like we have a withdrawal there. Just wait for confirmation of that. But the arena party will very shortly be changing this course, getting it ready for our jump off for our second round in this winning round competition. And those 10 competitors that I've just listed to you will indeed come forward to jump once again. They'll go in reverse order of merit. So Bliss Here's will come in first. Eugenio Garza will come in last. Those two, in fact, teammates on Team Helios. So we'll take a short break now. The arena party are indeed amending this course. We have 10 clears coming forward. Of course, actually the score from round 1 is discounted when they go into round 2, but they're all on a clean sheet. And so that makes things on quite an equal footing here going through to the next round. Do stay with us then. We'll be back in just a few moments' time for the second round. All right, then, here we go, everybody. We've got this final round of the 5-star winning round. 10 combinations coming forward. We go in reverse order of merit. That means that Bliss Hears, as our slowest clear from round 1, is going to be first to go. The horse she rides is Goodbye. This, of course, is a very experienced combination. There is very little that this combination have not done. They're absolutely ones to watch here. The time in round 1 is now discounted. But she did, of course, keep all of the fences up. She's getting quite a decent pace up here, heading to the first. So the course here for the winning round is fences 1, 2, 3 and 4 from round 1. Following fence 4, they will then make a new left-handed turn down across the arena to fence 9. We'll just take a little look at that as Bliss heads down there. So now here she heads straight down across the middle of the arena to fence 9. That had the water tray underneath the Cabana Coast upright. Then she heads right-handed again. Left-handed again now, excuse me, to fence 10, and then 11A and B from the final line here, nicely through there. She'll then head to fence 15, fence 15 being a new fence at this multicoloured upright in the middle of the ring. She gives it a little bit of a rub, but it stays up. Brilliantly done. 42.19 is the time. Bliss Hears sets a fantastic standard for the rest of these competitors to catch. 9 more to come. On then to Alberto Michan and Bugatti. This combination have already had a win at 5-star level here this week. They are quick. He's certainly not a rider that you would bet against in terms of time. Makes a good turn back to 3. Now this is a point of the course where they can save time. He's quickly away from fence 4, makes the gallop down across the arena. Now another left-handed turn, quickly back down the final line. Just a couple of fences left to go. The time to beat is 42.19. He's quick here. He's just, oh, you could be just about there. Yeah, brilliantly done. 41.46 for Alberto Michan and Bugatti. Pips Bliss Hears into second place with that time, 41.46. I think we are going to see these riders absolutely going for it. And why not? This is the final day of competition here in Monterey. The final day of 2 weeks of competition. What a 2 weeks it has been. It's been such a pleasure to be here watching these 5-star and 2-star competitors in action. 2 fantastic team competitions, a very exciting individual 5-star Grand Prix last week, and that is going to be the highlight of the day today. Rodrigo Lambre comes forward now with Mesquidam PS. 41.46 is the new time to beat. That's the time set by Alberto Michan. Slips over fence 4. No time wasted. He's very quickly away from these fences. Now, Alberto Michan landed from this double at around 35 seconds. Ooh, and Rodrigo Lambre is at a similar sort of pace. Is he going to gallop to the last? Oh, yes, he is. Oh, and he's just made it on time by 0.2 of a second, 0.25 of a second. But just that final fence, he was bold to it. He was very, very brave, but unfortunately the last fence falls. 41.21, though, is our fastest time, so the time can be done. But with a fence down, Rodrigo will head into third place. Federico Fernandez is a very competitive rider, a very fast rider, and he's competing here on home soil. He's one of 4 Mexican competitors that we have in this second round here this morning. Vega de la Roche, a great partner for him. But the CP Oxa falls for Federico Fernandez. Now, will he ease off the time? Or will he now keep a foot to the floor? That's the question. Ooh, a rattle at the last fence. Didn't particularly ease off the time. He's not our fastest. It's 44.37, but crucially, it's a fence down. For Federico Fernandez, he'll take 4th spot for now. Just goes behind Rodrigo Lambre, who is a faster 4-faulter. And we have 6 still to come. On then to Argentina, to Ignacio Morin with Aquarela B. Time to beat, still 41.46. This is not looking quite so quick in the early parts of the course. Quite an efficient turn back. But he may be going for a nice double clear here. Which could be very valuable. We've got 2 clears and 2 falls so far, so certainly if that's the rate that we keep up, then a top 5 finish would definitely be very valuable indeed. Some tactics coming into play. And the back rail of 11B comes down. He's good to the last though, and the time 42.47, so it was quite deceptive actually. It was really pretty quick. You know, he was very efficient with the turns, and that saved him quite a considerable amount of time. Unfortunately, 1 fence down though for Ignacio Morin. He will now take the 4th spot. It's our 2nd fastest 4-faulter. Rodrigo Lambre holds the honour of being the fastest 4-faulter so far, and he is in 3rd place. 2 double clears, and Alberto Michan with Bugatti leads the way. Could it be another 5-star win for that combination here this week? What an impressive record that would be. Lily Keenan comes next then. She was last week's 5-star Grand Prix winner. She'll be competing in that competition once again this afternoon with the very same horse, Queensland E. But here she rides Argon de Belliard, her World Championships horse, in this 5-star winning round. Time to beat is 41.46. Good to that Cabana Coast upright. She's a little bit wider on the turn, but she's still got the pace up. Lands well from the double. Makes good use of this horse's big stride all the time now. 41.76. It's very, very close. It's 0.3 of a second just outside Alberto Michan's time. His was 41.46, so Lily Keenan slots into 2nd place. Alberto Sanchez Cozar is also another rider who we've seen have 5-star wins in San Miguel, and he's been pretty consistent over the course of these 2 weeks as well. Union de la Nutria is the horse that he rides. The one that he has that a lot of riders have their eye on is Catova. One of our 4 Mexican competitors in this second round. And as I say, he's already had 5-star wins in the last couple of weeks. He, again, is a very experienced and very competitive rider. He's absolutely got the pace needed. 41.46 is still the time to beat. Lands quickly over the CP Oxa. This horse wastes no time in the air. Oh, a big gallop down to fence 4. And now he's really pushing it for time, heading down to this Cabana Coast upright. Nicely done. Much wider here, but he's got the pace up. And that's the balance that they've got to find, whether they go for the tight turns or whether they keep the pace up and take the wider line. He's a bit out on the clock. It's going to be 45.93. I think had it not been for that wide line, he may well have got quite a bit closer to the time. But 45.93 and a nice clear. It's going to be a double clear for Alberto Sanchez Cozar and Union de la Nutria. They go into 4th place for now. 4 double clears on the board. The fastest still is Alberto Michan. Mimi Goshman comes next then. This very talented young rider, absolutely making her mark at the 5-star level. Cosmos BH is her ride. She's quick down to the CP Oxa and her turn is good back to fence 3 as well. Carefully there. How much will she gallop along these longer distances? Quite a bit is the answer to that. Manages to catch the turn so she doesn't waste too much time. Oh, what a shame. Fence 10 coming down there for Mimi. And fence 15 as well, but look at that time, 39.17 seconds. Amazing time for Mimi. 2 fences down though, so it's 8, but we know that the time can now be beaten. 39.17, that's our fastest time so far by a good way. So 2 fences down though is going to see her in 8th place for now. Just 2 combinations left. Alberto Michan is guaranteed a place on the podium. 41.46 is still the time to beat because Mimi had those 2 fences down, but her time 39.17 proves that a faster time can be done. Just requires a very careful horse to keep all of the fences up at that pace. Tanemara Makari comes up next with Cordelia GPZ. The rider for the Crusaders, that all-new team. Oh my goodness, that is not what she would have liked to happen here early on. That's really unfortunate. Well, that's very unusual. Unfortunately, with 2 refusals, that will be elimination, but extremely unusual for this combination and strange because they've already jumped this fence already once today. Safely over on the 3rd time, but sadly that will be elimination. Cordelia just getting quite some pace up there, heading away from that fence. Something unsettled her at fence 1. With that in mind, Tanemara will be 9th for now, and we still have 1 rider to go. And that final rider, of course, is Eugenio Garza. Riding for Mexico, he is part of Team Helios, who are the leading team in the overall season standings. And this man is very much on form. He's had fantastic performances in the 5-star Grand Prix in recent weeks. 2 7th place finishes, 1 in San Miguel and 1 in Monterrey. He was our fastest clear round from round 1. And therefore he secures himself the best spot in this second round. He'll also be jumping in the Grand Prix later on today. He'll be 13th to go with Contago, but Victor Finn, this is the horse that he rode in the team competition last night, that competition indoors. And he's our final competitor here. The time he has to beat is 41.46. He's very quick around the first few fences. Just steadies to the Cabana Coast upright, and he makes a very good turn back. Quickly down this final line, he lands at about 34 seconds, 41.46 the time to beat. And he's done it, 40.14 seconds. Really fantastically done, brilliantly efficient turns, and just absolutely 10 out of 10 riding from him. Fantastic to see. And he gets first win. Absolutely very well ridden. Clear. Now in round 2 as well. Second place will go to Alberto Michan with Bugatti, 41.46 the time, so just a little bit over a second off the pace of Eugenio Garza. Lily Keenan will take 3rd spot, of course, last week's 5-star Grand Prix winner. She'll also be competing in the 5-star Grand Prix later on this afternoon. She rides Argan de Belliard in this class. Well, the arena party will just be preparing the ring now for the prize giving and the presentation of the prizes for this 5-star winning round competition. But the action doesn't stop there today. We have the 2-star Grand Prix coming up. I'll be taking you through that at about 11 o'clock local time. So in around about 50 minutes time, we'll have that 2-star Grand Prix. We will then have the 5-star Grand Prix at 2:30, and that is a competition that you won't want to miss. It was an extremely exciting competition in round 1, in our first week, excuse me, and I'm sure that it will be an equally competitive running this week as well. We're on leg 8 of the Major League show jumping circuit. Just 2 stages remain. It's absolutely all to play for, both in the team competitions and in the individual rankings in these individual Grand Prix. So do stay with us for both the 2-star Grand Prix and then that feature class of the day, the 5-star Grand Prix. Here are your final results. Eugenio Garza takes the win, Alberto Michan in 2nd, Lily Keenan 3rd. They are your top 10. Bliss Hears comes 4th, Alberto Sanchez Cozar in 5th. Rodrigo Lambre, Ignacio Morin, Federico Fernandez, Mimi Goshman and Tanimara Makari all follow down to make that top 10. The top 3 will be coming in for the prize giving. But as I say, do join us again in about 50 minutes time for the 2-star Grand Prix.